Turkey earthquake. On February 6, around 4:15 a.m. local time, a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck south-central Turkey near the Turkey-Syria border. Just 11 minutes later, it was followed by a magnitude 6.7 aftershock. The largest aftershock at the time of writing was at M7.5 aftershock, which struck 95 kilometers, 60 miles to the north. USGS observations and analyses indicate all these events are occurring within the East Anatolian fault system. The death toll in Turkey and Syria has surpassed 11,000 people in the world's deadliest earthquake disaster in more than a decade. The number of victims is climbing quickly 2 days after earthquakes leveled cities and towns in both countries. According to WHO, the affected regions in Turkey and Syria are home to around 23 million people, including 1.4 million children. Many aftershocks followed the earthquake, and a second major earthquake hit the region after 9 hours, with 7.5 magnitude, causing serious further damage and destruction of damaged buildings. Conspiracy theory. Several social media users are engaged in what some are calling a conspiracy theory, where they believe that the earthquake in Turkey and neighboring Syria was created by the United States using the American HAARP technology. Since last night, the hashtag #HAARP has been trending on Twitter, receiving more than 100,000 tweets. What is HAARP? It stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. The American research initiative called HAARP has been active since the early 1990s. Although the project has a number of goals, radio communication technology advancement is considered to be its primary focus. HAARP is the world's most capable high-power, high-frequency transmitter for study of the ionosphere, a university release by the University of Alaska reads. Operation of the research facility was transferred from the United States Air Force to the University of Alaska Fairbanks on August 11, 2015, allowing HAARP to continue with exploration of ionospheric phenomenology via a land-use cooperative research and development agreement. It continues. Many people who use social media think that HAARP is being used to punish Turkey for refusing to work with the West. However, all the allegations and remarks come from social media users, and no Turkish official has recorded any such statement. Therefore, the United States has not responded to the accusations. A 2017 study published in Science Advances came to the conclusion that both naturally occurring and human-caused earthquakes have a similar potential for shaking and damage. The research program currently at the center of the rumors has not claimed anywhere to have the power to induce quakes. In October 2022, HAARP began its largest set of experiments at its new observatory, but did not mention earthquakes. Scientific explanation of Turkey earthquake. The earthquakes emerged from relatively shallow depths and were a strike-slip quake. It is being described as the strongest earthquake that Turkey has experienced in over a century, and the worst disaster since 1939. The 1939 earthquake was the Erzincan earthquake that had caused extreme damage in the Erzincan Plain and the Kelkit River Valley. The Arabian Peninsula is part of a tectonic plate that is making its way north into the Eurasian plate, and the entire nation of Turkey is getting squeezed aside. Arabia has slowly been moving north and has been colliding with Turkey, and Turkey is moving out of the way to the west. Turkey's two main fault zones, the East Anatolian and the North Anatolian, make it one of the most seismically active regions in the world. These fault zones are a result of movement of large portions of Earth's crust, or tectonic plates, relative to each other. One zone includes the Anatolian plate, which makes up most of Turkey. The East Anatolian zone encompasses the area where there is movement of the Anatolian plate relative to the Arabian plate, which is to the southeast of the Anatolian. The North Anatolian zone is where there is movement of the Anatolian plate and the Eurasian plate, which is to the north of the Anatolian. That tectonic shift has been behind earthquakes for millennia in the area, including one that flattened the Syrian city of Aleppo in 1138. More recent quakes, such as the 1999 one that struck the city of Zerozmet, have killed many thousands. Monday's quake is believed to be the most powerful that Turkey has seen in more than 80 years. This particular region was overdue for a big one. Most of the largest earthquakes in the past 100 years have been along the North Anatolian fault, but stress has been building along another major fault, the East Anatolian fault. That fault has seen some big earthquakes in the past, says Patricia Martinez-Garzon, a seismologist at GFZ Potsdam, a research center in Germany. But more recently, there hasn't been as much activity. This was a strike-slip earthquake. This earthquake occurred because two pieces of the Earth are sliding horizontally past each other, Steckler says. It's the same kind of quake that occurs along the San Andreas Fault in California. In this case, the Arabian plate is sliding past the Anatolian plate, That sliding motion also meant the shaking was spread out for many kilometers along the fault, says Bullitt. The affected area is quite large, he says. 10 cities were structurally affected in Turkey. How regular earthquake is different from strike-slip earthquake. Plate movement. In a strike-slip earthquake, two tectonic plates move horizontally past each other, whereas in a regular earthquake, the movement is vertical. Fault zones, tectonic earthquakes, volcanic earthquake, human-induced earthquakes are the different types of earthquakes. Fault type and location. Strike-slip earthquakes occur along transform boundaries such as the San Andreas Fault in California, while regular earthquakes occur along divergent or convergent plate boundaries, where the plates move vertically, such as along the Pacific Ring of Fire. Causes. The cause of strike-slip fault earthquakes is due to the movement of the two plates against one another and the release of built-up strain. What makes Turkey prone to earthquakes? In the eastern Mediterranean region comprising Turkey, Syria and Jordan, tectonics are dominated by complex interactions between the African, Arabian, and Eurasian tectonic plates and the Anatolian tectonic block. Turkey sits on the Anatolian tectonic plate, which borders two major faults: the North Anatolian Fault, NAF, that cuts across the country from west to east, and the East Anatolian Fault, EAF, in the southeast. The NAF line is the meeting point of the Eurasian and Anatolian tectonic plates that is known to be particularly devastating. NAF is right lateral strike-slip structure in northern Turkey, accommodating much of the translational motion of the Anatolia block westwards, with respect to Eurasia and Africa. The EAF is the tectonic boundary between the Anatolian plate and the northward moving Arabian plate. It runs 650 kilometers from eastern Turkey and into the Mediterranean. In addition to this, the Aegean Sea plate, located in the eastern Mediterranean Sea under southern Greece and western Turkey, is also a source of seismic activity in the region. According to one estimate, almost 95% of Turkey's land mass is prone to earthquakes, while about a third of the country is at high risk, including the areas around the major cities of Istanbul and Izmir, and the region of East Anatolia. Turkey has seismic codes to try to prevent buildings from collapsing, but Bullitt says because this region has escaped a major quake for decades, it's possible that some older buildings are vulnerable. Sometimes there are very old things built before the rules existed, he says. Steckler says he suspects that even some newer buildings may not have been up to code. I know, certainly in Istanbul, there's a lot of illegal construction that goes on. The US Geological Survey has already recorded more than 100 aftershocks in the region, and experts expect they will continue for some time.